Good morning everyone, my name is Guimbaleña and for today I will discuss the chapter 10, the laws regulating restaurants and other tourism-oriented establishments. While many Filipino restaurants do not have very long lifespans, some reliable old brands are still very much around, owing much their stability to the consistency of the quality of their products and services and continuous patronage of various generations of Filipino families. Entertaining in the Philippines is not only a ritual but a display of one's socio-economic status, education, and hospitality. The different kinds of entertainment outlets have emerged in the last 2 decades, catering to varied tastes of the Filipino on tourism. Learning objectives. Enumerate the responsibilities of a restaurant or similar establishment. Identify the laws that govern restaurants, caterers, bars, health and fitness club, spas, and entertainment outlets. Cite examples of issues and problems that may arise in restaurants, bars, and other tourism-oriented establishments. Topic outline: first, introduction; second, nature and descriptions of business; third, laws governing casinos and gaming establishment; fourth, special conditions of the franchise; fifth, taxes and exemptions; sixth, prohibition; seven, operations and maintenance of the tourism-related establishments; eight, Food Caterers Associations of the Philippines or FCAP; 9, retail and trade; 10, qualifications and requirements of foreign investors; 11, laws regulating sale of alcohol; 12, laws regulating churches, monument, national shrines, landmarks, and other important historic edifices; 13, vandalism or malicious mischief; 14, poisoning, and 15 is theft. Nature and descriptions of business. A restaurant is an establishment offering the public refreshments and/or meals. Bars and pubs may also be classified under this generic category. A department store is a store that sells or carries several lines of merchandise and that is organized into separate sections for the purpose of promotion, service, accounting, and control. A shop is a small retail establishment offering a line of goods and services. A sports and recreational club or center is an establishment offering sports and recreational facilities to tourists and to the general public. Gyms, clubs, dance studios, theme parks, cinemas, theater, and other halls fall under this category. Amusement is an institutional establishment where collections of valuable objects and artifacts on history and culture, arts and sciences are put on exhibition for the general public. A karaoke bar is an establishment offering karaoke and videoke facilities to tourists and to the general public. A gallery is an establishment that has a formal space of exhibition of paintings, sculptures, prints, photographs, poetries, and mixed method works. Restaurants should have proper access, clean facilities, quality food, professional staff, and strict hygiene standards. They must ensure good ventilation, lighting, and fire safety. These types include casual and fine dining, fast food, cafes, and bars. Shop should be in a prime location with attractive displays, proper lighting, and air conditioning. Clean restroom must be available. Department store should have parking and clear directional signs. Staff must be professional and courteous. Goods should have clear price tags. Receipts must include business details. Discounts and itemized pricing should be transparent. Antique shops must provide authenticity certificates. Sports and recreational centers. This includes the theme parks, amusement parks, fitness centers, and spas. Facilities must have proper access, secured parking, and receptionists and security. A waiting lounge, clean restrooms should be available. Dining areas must be well maintained and sports equipment should be available for rent. Locker rooms, dressing areas, and showers should be provided. Museum should be accredited, have proper access, parking, security, and receptionist. Facilities must include a waiting lounge, conference room, library, and clean restrooms. Karaoke bars must follow zoning laws, have proper access, parking, security, and receptionists. They should feature a well air-conditioned lounge with quality furniture, sound systems, and stock bar. Clean restrooms, proper lighting, and regular maintenance are required. Fire safety, noise control, and security must be ensured. Entertainment facilities like stages and microphones should be available. Galleries should be in a commercial areas, well maintained and secure. Art must be properly labeled and authenticated. A curator, logbook, and parking should be available. Tertiary hospitals for medical tourism. Hospitals must be accessible and well equipped with private rooms, 24-hour service, quality dining, housekeeping, security, and multilingual staff. And last is spas. Spas should be in a safe, relaxing location, well-trained staff, clean facilities, and essential amenities. Services include massage, steam baths, and spa treatments. Next is laws governing casinos and gaming establishments. Section 1, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared to be the policy of the state to centralize and integrate all games of chance not heretofore authorized by existing franchises or permitted by law in order to attain the following objectives. First, to centralize and integrate the right and authority to operate and conduct games of chance into one corporate entity to be controlled, administered, and supervised by the government. Second, to establish and operate clubs, casinos for amusement and recreation, including sports gaming pools like basketball, football, lotteries, and etc., and such other forms of amusement and recreation, including games of chance, which may be allowed by law within the territorial jurisdictions of the following, and which will: first, generate sources of additional revenue to fund infrastructure and socio-civic projects such as flood control programs, beautification, sewerage and sewage projects, tulungan ng bayan centers, nutritional programs, population control, and such other essential public services. Second, create recreation and integrated facilities which will expand and improve the country's existing tourist attractions. And third is minimize, if not totally eradicated, the evils, malpractices, and corruptions that are normally prevalent in the conduct of operations of gambling clubs and casinos without direct government involvement. Section 2. Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation or PAGCOR. Creation and purpose: to implement state policy and pursue the objectives set forth in the preceding section, there is hereby created a body corporate to be known as the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. A PAGCOR is the government entity responsible for overseeing casinos and gaming establishments. It ensures legal compliance and directs revenue through national development programs. Special conditions of the franchise: after deducting 5% as franchise tax, the 50% per share of the government in the aggregate gross earnings of the corporation from this franchise, or 60% if aggregate gross earnings be less than 150,000 pesos, shall immediately be set aside and shall accrue to the general fund and finance the priority infrastructure development projects and to finance the restoration of damaged or destroyed facilities due to calamities as may be directed and authorized by the Office of the President of the Philippines. Taxes and exemptions: all importations for the sole and exclusive use of the casinos, the proper and efficient management and administration thereof, and such other clubs, recreations, or amusement places to be established under this franchise shall be exempt from the payment of all kinds of customs, duties, taxes, and other imposed, including all kinds of fees, levies, or charges of any kind of nature whether national or local. vessels and/or accessory ferry boats imported or to be imported by any corporation having existing contractual agreements with PAGCOR for the sole of exclusive use of the casino or to be used to service the operations and requirements of the casino shall also be totally exempt from the paying of all customs, duties, taxes, and other imposed, including all kinds of fees, levies, assessments, or charges of any kind of nature, whether national or local. Casino-related imports or such as gaming equipment are exempt from taxes and customs duties if used exclusively for casinos operation. Prohibition: only tourists and/or foreigners who are not residents of the Philippines and residents with a net income for the previous year of at least 50%, which facts should be certified to by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, shall be allowed to play at the gambling casinos. So the following person are not allowed to stay and or play at the gambling casinos. First, government officials is connected directly with the operations of the government or any of its agencies, save personnel employed by the casinos who may be allowed to stay in the premises. So this rule prohibits government officials from gambling in casinos because they are in positions of power and influence. So the restrictions helps prevent corruption, conflicts of interest, and unethical behavior, such as using government funds for gambling. The only exception is for casino employees who work these establishments, as their presence is necessary for operation. So second, members of the Philippine National Police or PNP and Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP, including the Army, Navy, and Air Force. So police officers and military personnel are banned from gambling in casinos to maintain discipline, integrity, and public trust, since they enforce the law and protect citizens. Engaging in gambling activities could lead to concerns about bribery, illegal betting, or misconduct. This rule prevents them from developing gambling addictions that could impact their duty performance. And last is the persons under 21 years of age or students of any school, college, or university in the Philippines. This rule protects young individuals from gambling addictions and financial responsibility. People under 21 are generally considered too young to make mature financial decisions and may not fully understand the risk of gambling. Students are also prohibited, regardless of age, to ensure they focus on their education rather than engaging in gambling activities. The operation and maintenance of the tourism-related establishmts. Firefighting facilities should be provided in accordance with the Fire Code of the Philippines. All facilities of the establishments concerned should be properly maintained at all times, and a periodic vermin control program shall be conducted. All enclosed areas of the establishments concerned should be fully air-conditioned or well ventilated. So all tourism-related businesses must comply with health and safety regulations, including fire safety in accordance with the Fire Code of the Philippines, regular maintenance and cleanliness, adequate ventilations and air conditioning, and periodic pets and vermin control. Food Caterers Associations of the Philippines or FCAP. The Food Caterers Associations of the Philippines or FCAP is a group of catering companies with the need of professionalize an industry and serve the needs of the Philippines catering industry. These associations has managed to attract a diverse network of renowned allied members who represent the food manufacturing, food distribution, audio systems, floral, photo, and wedding planning industries. So FCAP is a group of catering companies that aims to professionalize the catering industry. It collaborates with suppliers in food manufacturing, event planning, and hospitality to improve industry standards. So membership in FCAP has the following benefits. First, the opportunity to network with the best minds in the catering industry. Second, expansion of the catering business by showing itself to several prestigious events. Third, to learn through interchange of ideas and educational programs. Fourth, to keep abreast of the latest trends in order to keep business operations and optimum speed. And last is to uplift with the standards of food service to greater heights by growing with FCAP as it moves towards the dream of professionalizing the Philippine catering industry. Retail Trade Law. The Retail Trade Liberalizations Act of 2000 was enacted on March 7, 2000, which specifically repealed Republic Act 1180, otherwise known as the Retail Trade Nationalization Laws. So the retail sector is governed by the Retail Trade Liberalizations Act of 2000, which aims to encourage investments and competitions in the Philippine retail industry, provide consumers with better product choices, lower prices, and high-quality goods, and open the market to foreign investors while protecting local businesses. So by the virtue of a Retail Trade Liberalizations Act of 2000, the Philippine retail industry is hereby liberalized to encourage Filipino and competitive retail trade sector in the interest of empowering the Filipino consumer through lower prices, higher quality goods, better services, and wider choices. This is in line with the policy of the state to promote consumer welfare in attracting, promoting, and welcoming productive investments that will promote tourism and create more jobs. Qualification and requirements of foreign investor. No foreign retailer should be allowed to engage in retail trade in the Philippines unless all the following qualifications are met. First, a minimum of 200 million US dollars net worth in its parent corporations for categories B and C, and 50 million US dollars net worth in its parent corporations for category D. Letter B. 5 retailing branches or franchises in operations anywhere around the world unless such retailer has at least one store capitalized at a minimum of 25 million US dollars. C. 5-year track record in retailing. And letter D. Only nationals from or juridical entities formed or incorporated in countries which allow the entry of Filipino retailers shall be allowed to engage in retail trade in the Philippines. So the Department of Trade and Industry is hereby authorized to pre-qualify all foreign retailers before they are allowed to conduct business in the Philippines. Qualified foreign retailers shall not be allowed to engage in certain retailing activities outside the accredited stores through the use of mobile or rolling stores or carts, the use of sales representatives, door-to-door selling, restaurants and sari-sari stores, and such other similar retailing activities. Laws regulating sale of alcohol. First, the National Internal Revenue Code. The National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, or as amended by Republic Act number 9334 on December 21, 2004, has imposed excise taxes on the purchase of alcohol. The excise tax rates shall be based on the qualifications of alcohol content as provided under the law. So the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, amended by the RA 9394, imposes excise taxes on alcohol sales. Alcohol taxes are based on the classifications and alcohol content of beverages. And the second is the Local Government Code. So under said law, every local government unit shall exercise the powers expressly granted, those necessarily implied therefrom, as well as powers necessary, appropriate, or incidental for its efficient and effective governance, and those which are essential to the promotions of the general welfare. Local government units shall ensure promotions of health and safety, and maintenance of peace and order within their respective territorial jurisdiction. So local government units or LGUs have the authority to regulate businesses within their jurisdictions. So the responsibilities include ensuring public health and safety, maintaining peace and order, and issuing permits and enforcing regulations. Laws regulating churches, monuments, national shrines, landmarks, and other important historic edifices. By the virtue of Presidential Decree Number 260 on August 1, 1973, the following has been declared national shrines, monuments, and landmarks. So first, the Santa Ana Site Museum in Manila. So this museum is located in Santa Ana, Manila, an area known for its rich pre-colonial heritage. So this houses archaeological artifacts such as burial jars, gold ornaments, and ceramics dating back to the 11th century. This site is one of the earliest settlements in Manila, providing the existence of advanced pre-colonial communities. And the second, the Roman Catholic churches of Puway and Bacara in Ilocos Norte. So in Puway churches on San Agustin Church in Ilocos Norte, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its earthquake resistance or earthquake Baroque architecture. Built in 1710, its massive buttresses are designed to withstand earthquakes. It represents the blending of Filipino, Chinese, and Spanish architectural influences. So the Bacaras Church or St. Andrew Church in Ilocos Norte, built in 1593 by the Spanish. This church was severely damaged by the earthquakes but remains a symbol of Spanish colonial architecture. So it features a detached belfry known as the Bacara Leaning Tower, which has become a landmark of the town. And the third is the San Agustin Church and the liturgical objects therein in Chamorros, Manila. So San Agustin Church is the oldest stone church in the Philippines, built in 1607. And it's another UNESCO World Heritage Site representing Spanish Baroque architecture. The interior features intricate carvings, ceiling paintings, and religious relics. It withstood earthquakes, wars, and natural disasters, making it one of the most resilient colonial structures in the country. So the church liturgical objects, including religious statues, altars, and historical documents, add to its historic value. So the fourth is Fort Pillar in the Zamboanga City. So built in 1635 by the Spanish, Fort Pillar was a military defense fortress against Muslim pirates and foreign invaders. It played a crucial role in protecting Zamboanga and the surrounding areas from attacks. Today, it serves as a shrine to Our Lady of the Pillar, a religious and historic landmarks. The fort also houses the Zamboanga Museum, showcasing artifacts from Mindanao's history and culture. The petroglyphs of the rock shelter in Agon, Rizal. So these ancient carvings, estimated to be over 3,000 years old, are the oldest known artworks in the Philippines. They provide insight into early Filipino civilizations and are considered an invaluable archaeological treasure. 6 is the petroglyphs of Alab Bontoc. Similar to the Agono petroglyphs, these carvings are evidence of prehistoric human settlements in the Cordillera region. They are crucial to understanding early Filipino culture and spiritual practices. Next is the stone agricultural calendars of Dapay, Gitay, in Bisao, Bontoc. These stone formations are believed to have been used by indigenous people and as an agricultural calendar guiding their farming cycles. They reflects the evidence They reflects the advanced knowledge of early Filipinos in astronomy and agriculture. Next is the mummy caves of Kabayan, Benguet, Sagada, and Alab Buntok. These caves contain preserved human remains known as the Ibaloy mummies, which date back hundreds of years. They represent the indigenous burial practices of the Balaoy people and are a significant part of the Philippine heritage. Next, the Ifugao rice terraces of Banawe. These terraces, carved into the mountains by the Ifugao people over 2,000 years ago, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that demonstrate advanced engineering and sustainable agriculture practices in pre-colonial Philippines. Next is the Barasuin Church in Malolos, Bulacan. Known as the Cradle of Democracy in the East, this church hosted the Malolos Congress, which drafted the first Philippine constitutions in 1898. It symbolizes Filipino independence and governance. Next, the Tirad Pass in Cervantes, Ilocos Sur. This is the site of the heroic stand of General Gregorio del Pilar against American forces in 1899. This represents Filipino bravery and resistance during the Philippine-American War. Next, the Miagao Church in Miagao, Iloilo. The UNESCO World Heritage Site, this church is an outstanding example of Baroque architecture with local influences. Its intricate face and sturdy constructions showcase Filipino craftsmanship during the Spanish colonial period. Next, the site of the Battle of Mactan on Mactan Island, Cebu. This marks the site where Lapu-Lapu and his warriors defeated Ferdinand Magellan in 1521. The battle symbolizes Filipino resistance to foreign colonizations and is an essential part of the Philippine history. Next, the San Sebastian Church in Quiapo, Manila. This is the first all-steel church in Asia and a unique example of neo-Gothic architectures in the country. It is notable for its earthquake resistance design and European-inspired craftsmanship. And the last is the Church of Convent of Santo Niño in Cebu City. So, home of the image of the Santo Niño de Cebu, which was given by the Ferdinand Magellan in 1521, this church is one of the oldest and most significant in the Philippines. It represents the beginning of Christianity in the country and is a major pilgrim. Next is vandalism or malicious mischief. So in Article 3 to 7, who are liable for malicious mischief? Any person who shall deliberately cause the property of another any damage shall be guilty of malicious mischief. So in Article 3 to 7, damaging someone else's property is a punishable offenses. In Article 3 to 8, special cases of malicious mischief, any person who shall cause damage to the National Museum or National Library or to any archive or registry shall be punished. So, destroying objects in museums, libraries, or archives results in higher penalties. In Article 331, destroying or damaging statues, public monuments, and or paintings. Any person who shall destroy or damage statues or any other useful ornamental public monument shall suffer the penalty. So, damaging statues, public monuments, or paintings carries strict legal consequences. So, any person who shall destroy or damage any useful or ornamental painting of public nature shall suffer the penalty. Poisoning. In Article 264, administering injurious substances or beverages. The penalties established by the next preceding article or serious physical injuries shall be applicable in the respective cases to any person who without intent to kill shall inflict upon another any serious physical injury by knowing administering to him any injurious substances or beverages or by taking advantage of his weakness of mind and credulity. So, giving harmful substance without intent to kill but causing serious injuries is punishable. In Article 265, less serious physical injuries. Any person who shall inflict upon another physical injuries not described in the preceding articles but which shall incapacitate the offended party for labor for 10 days or more, or shall require medical attendance for the same period. So, causing physical harm that incapacitates someone for 10 days or more carries legal penalties. In Article 266, slight physical injuries and maltreatment. The crime of slight physical injuries shall be punished, first, by arresto minor, when the offender has inflicted physical injuries which shall incapacitate the offended party for labor from 1 to 9 days, or shall require medical attendance during the same period. Second, by the arresto minor, or a fine not exceeding 200 pesos, and censure with the offender has caused physical injuries which do not prevent the offended party from engaging in his habitual work nor require medical attendance. So, lesser injuries are still punishable even if they don't incapacitate the victim. Theft. In Article 308, we are liable for theft. Theft is committed to any person who, with intent to gain but without violence against or intimidations of person nor force upon things, shall take personal property or another without a latter's consent. So, theft is the act of taking someone's property without permission. Article 310, Qualified Theft. The crime of theft shall be punished by the penalties next higher by 2 degrees, if committed with grave abuse of confidence. Qualified theft or committed with abuse of trust carries high penalties. Last is Article 311, theft of the property of a national library and national museum. If the property is stolen by any property of the National Library or the National Museum, the penalty shall be arresto mayor or a fine, unless a higher penalty should be provided under other provisions of this code, in which case the offender shall be punished by such higher penalty. So, stealing from the National Library or National Museum results in stricter punishments. And that's it for my report. Thank you for listening.